100% honest, I can't even remember what episode this is, but that doesn't matter. The after party, I think it's like episode 13, 14, doesn't matter, but we're rocking with Rap and Graffiti, as you guys know. We do the certain elements, and we got a little adjustment update. We'll talk about it towards the end, but today we're talking Rap and Graffiti, and we'll get right into it. I'm not sure if you want to start it off, or I'll start it off, whatever it is, but let's rock.
You can go first. I thought I keep my second topic for rap doesn't say it's not saved for some reason. But anyway, so why don't you go?
I noticed. So you guys. I mean, whatever. I was going to give the details, but I noticed some of my stuff didn't save either. So we'll get into that. But I guess we'll talk about this. We'll start with the rap shit.
Go
ahead. Just because it's fresh, and I was going to make a video about it early. I actually made the video and I just didn't post it because I thought, let me just save it. Now, again, when we talk about rap, right? We were talking off record and off camera, off live or whatever, and we can go on forever talking about rap because we can branch out. I'll answer that question in just a little bit about the cassette because I'm going to talk about cassette, but rap, emceeing, we can go so many different ways. Type Raw, what up, brother? So with that said, so today I'm gonna give you a little context of what happened, but I really want to talk about as hip hop heads when it comes to rap music. I know we don't call it that anymore, but when it comes to rap music, how we can get away from, because there's a fine line of ego in hip hop, right? Good ego is competition, right? I'm a better MC than you. My beats are better. My producer, my DJ is better than you. And that's that good competition, that good ego. Then there's that fucked up ego, which I'm going to talk about right now. So in passing, I posted, I'm probably going to go a little bit over the 10 and I'll try to make it quick. In passing, I saw a video, someone's Jimmy Fallon and Lil Wayne talking about, Jimmy Fallon's like, how do you write your music? Lil Wayne says, I don't write my music. And in passing, and I know you told me, there's no reason to post, but I was like, in passing, I was like, oh yeah, that's why it's trash. So that's why it sucks. Something to that effect. Kept it moving, no big deal. Obviously, some people are like, haha, that's funny. Other people are like, don't disrespect Lil Wayne like that. And that's not the point. I'm just kind of put it into context. So this dude came at me, was like, and I get this a lot. With the name like Save the Hip Hop Culture and you don't like Lil Wayne, how ironic. Again, I'm not pissed. I don't know this person. They don't follow. They don't know, whatever. But I'm not going to get into the whole hip-hop culture and all that, right? We say hip-hop. We talk about all the elements. My thing is, why is it, and maybe it's because I said trash, but why is it where if I say, or if you say, hey, I'm not a fan of said artist, right? Or said album, said whatever, all of a sudden other quote unquote hip hop heads get this ego trip about, well, you're not hip hop enough, or a 180, you're too hip hop, you get too detailed. There's always this bickering amongst us in when we talk about the genre of hip hop, not so much the culture, but a genre of hip hop. What can we as elders, teachers, whatever it is, do to get away from that type of shit? The constant bickering.
Stop being bitch asses. I mean, I'm being silly, but like, people are fucking hoes right now, man. And people, I mean, we see what it is. I don't even know. I think it extends beyond hip hop. I think it's bigger than that. I mean, but if we're sticking to hip hop, I mean, people ride with it. First of all, there's too much dick riding going on to the ultimate level, and they ride with these artists like, if you wouldn't believe, like, who cares? Who the fuck? Like, people cared way too much, and I don't think that's going away because people don't have a fucking like life outside of like blowing these fucking artists or athletes or celebrities or Beyonce or Nicki Minaj or whatever the fuck it is. So, I don't think we can do. I mean, we can always try to be about unity, and I think as you and I have gotten older, even just older in our Instagram years on here, we've mellowed out, and this, we about sharing our shit, and if you fuck with it, you fuck with it, and if you don't, you don't, and we're about, about this is what we're about. This is how we get down with the culture. This is us, and so but I don't think we can really do anything. I mean, personally, I don't like to stop people from being pussies and to stop people from fucking stopping people with opinions and shit like that. Like everybody got a page. Everybody can say whatever they fucking want. Like, but it's like, yeah, I get that too. And it's funny. I just saw that story right before I was waiting for you to go live because I was doing shit, and I saw that story that it with you. So I just think people are fucking hoes, man. I mean, I'm really dumbing it down, but it's that simple to me. And I think people need to stop. Why are the people like? I do a lot of these rap dudes. Most of these dudes are fucking bums. Yo, I hate these dudes. Most of these dudes are assholes. And if you knew them, you and when you get to meet a lot of them, they suck. So, but people blow these cats to the point to where they put them on these pedestals, and it means. Here's the thing, real quick. This is what I realize. It's a psychological thing. If I say so and so is whack, if people aren't strong in their heads, they're going to interpret that as I'm saying you're whack if you like them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're whack. And I keep it moving, right? I post my shit, keep it moving. But people interpret that as yours, and so it hits them here because, oh, I like them, so he's talking shit about me. No, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying I don't fuck with so-and-so. I'm on my page, and I'm saying I don't fuck with so-and-so. I never say, oh, if you like, I hate when people say that, or if you don't like so-and-so, you're trash, or if you do like so-and-so, I don't say that. So that's my take on it, man. You know what I mean? People are pussies.
Yeah, it just sucks because it's like, imagine, I mean, it goes back to the whole black and brown, and I don't want to bring race into it, but like, if we were all to get together, imagine that power of, because it's fine. I mean, there's certain pages that, you know, constantly post just newer sounding stuff, but are still down with the actual culture, and that's fine. I mean, that can be like, you know, for hip hop, which is the Instagram handle of one of the people I follow, big page, but constantly posting stuff that I don't care for. I don't unfollow because I know once in a great, not even once in a great while, once in a while they'll put something that I rock with, and they're still down for the culture. They know what the culture is. They respect it. They know the foundation. They know the history. So I understand. Hey, you per se are gonna like something that I don't really care for. That doesn't make you any less hip hop. That doesn't mean that I hate what you like. It's just you like this, I like that. It's still hip hop. So I would love to see, and this goes into the unity and just being able to open up dialogue with other hip hop heads and just unite. But you know, that's a bigger goal to attain.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So
yeah, it is what it is. That was I didn't write down this as a this as a topic down, but it happened today, and I was like, I did the video, and I stopped. I'm like, maybe I should just talk about it on the live. And
yeah, no, that's dope. I saw that right before we jumped on. So, I wanted to do this if we have any artists on, if we have any MCs on. If we have MCs on, I'll do this one. If not, I'll do another. Do we have any MCs in the building? Any artists, MCs, produce, well, specifically MCs?
I mean, I'm sure we have people that spit, right? But I'm scrolling to see who's on here.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anybody. You got anybody that rhymes, make music?
I think someone said something about as a rapper or as an MC. Someone said something earlier. Oh, you're gonna do the whole spitting in the car type shit?
Yeah, I wanted to do a PSA for the MCs out there. Did any MCs? If not, oh, you just deleted something? Did you just delete something? No. Did you just delete something?
Me? No, I'm not even on.
What the fuck?
Off the Excel?
Yeah.
I'm not even on.
It just disappeared on me.
Crates, Graff
Right.
writer.
So well, fuck. I'm not gonna waste too much time. But I'll share this other thing first. Here's a realization I had, man, about rap. But having it the past couple of days. Like you and I said we don't, you know, first of all, we're about all of the elements, but we've said that we don't want to talk just about rap and shit. I mean, I don't just post rap on my page. I do. And that's not what we talk about. We're going to be talking about rap. So The thing is, it's easy to get into rap, yo. About this, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Rap, it's easy to get into MC. You can break down lyricism. You can break down. You can do the top five and shit. You can break down crews. You can break down albums, styles. Um, you can just really share about more stuff with more people than you can with the other elements. Um, it's evolved that much in terms of like. So I was just thinking, there's more that as I was trying to figure out topics and stuff, and we're always we're trying to do topics for the shows. It's always easier to like pick way more rap ones, MC ones than the other elements. And so I was just a reflection. I was just thinking like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's there's so much there's so many things you can do about it. Best hooks, best like what are some of the best? I mean, we can pick topics for days on that shit. What are some of the best hooks? Who are some of the best two-man groups? Who are just some of the best whatever crepes? Hold that thought. We'll be talking Graff in a bit. So yeah, I was just thinking about that, man. We've shied away, or we obviously focus on all the elements, but as we're kind of modifying this a little bit, it's like it kind of makes sense. So this is
Well, I mean, we can. I mean, let's be honest. If we weren't to talk about the other elements, and we just started this year, but we can go the whole year, easily, the whole year, and talk about just rap
easily.
we would. I mean, and we would still be able to get on the phone and just
and
talk
definitely
about the same shit
forever.
It's forever because again, like you said, we talk albums, MCs, styles, originality, but it goes forever. Concerts, shows, promoters, beats, and it all falls within rap music as a genre. So I get it, and it's something that we kind of have to give into, right? We still preserve the elements, but we got to understand that's the forefront. Not unfortunately, because it's dope, but
yeah, and it's kind of a driving factor in hip hop culture, whether we want it or not. It's what's driving. It's driving the bus. You know what I'm saying? So
really, what it is, rap. And I know we don't call it that, but rap music for the last forever, I guess you can say, has been what the DJ was in the beginning, right? The DJ was the driving force. The DJ would dictate whether or not someone can get on the mic. The DJ would dictate the mood of the crowd, of the party. The DJ would dictate all of that. The DJ dictated when the B-boys go off, right? If we really want to get technical. So rap music as a genre now is what the DJ was at the beginning. And I mean, it's cool. I get it. That's what we're here for, to kind of, put it into perspective. But in terms of discussions and all that, yeah, people can gravitate towards like someone just said, and it's not a bad thing. What was the first cassette tape I bought? Right, cassette tape, music,
right,
rap music,
word.
Yeah, no one's gonna ask me.
Label, CD jackets and shit.
Everything we can. Yeah. Do you remember it? Even just thinking back, where did you buy it? Oh yeah, that was Music Plus. Damn. Do you remember they used to do in stores? Damn. And it just. I mean, you're one thing. You could go down a rabbit hole.
Stories from shows. All right. So, stories from shows. I'm just pin this one. Yeah. So it was just a realization I had the past couple of days, man. That's just,
yeah. It's and that's where, I mean, we are, I mean, there's a reason why we vibe together. And I think it's a good balance, right? Because, we for the most part, we think alike. But, and in this case, we do, right? I'm kind of, it takes me a while I understand what's happening, but it takes me a while to accept certain things. And I did not want to accept the fact that, like, yeah, I'm going to run out of, I don't want to sound like a broken record. We've talked about this. We talked about that. But with rap music, I mean, you can, but in stores are definitely missed. Yeah, man.
yeah, they are.
The in stores, the waiting outside, or the day of the night. I remember because I used to work at the Warehouse Music, and I would put out the music Monday nights, the CDs when we closed. and I had dibs on a lot of shit, or even where it's like, yo, I got dibs on that end cap, right? Because we had promotional. I mean, that's where most of this shit came from. The promotional posters and all that. Like, that was all me. I mean, I loved it, but yeah, you don't got that no more.
Nah, I think it's over with. So we lived it. We lived it. We about to switch it up to Graff now. So
Graff now, yeah, we're gonna say. So I know someone said that there were Graff head in here. So again, graffiti, it's a part of hip hop, whether you like it or not. I know a lot of people that are into hip hop. I won't get into what happened because it just happened recently. You know, hip hop head follows me. Got mad that I posted someone writing on the wall, and it's like, what? Don't even, bro. Like that's. I was like,
yeah,
yeah. Just,
I told you. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. And I told you. I'm telling you. You're seeing it. See, you're in denial about this too. You got fucking weirdos on your show. You got some fucking weirdos on there.
And it's crazy because like I know the name. I've seen the name, and it's like I'm not. I haven't talked to them personally, but I've seen comments like, "Yo, this." I think it was like a Trap Called Quest, and posting like, "Yo, that's dope." Blah blah. And I know the name, right? You know certain names, and that's when I was like, "Is this dude kidding? Like, what the fuck?" So I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Like this." He's like, "What the fuck do you call it?" And I'm like, "This is style." He was just like, "You and your people don't even know how to read it. It's just a bunch of scribble." Like went off. I'm like, "The fuck."
See?
Weird. So it's like, all right, I'm out. Whatever. Either way, so we're talking Graff. I wanted to talk about the mean streak or the streaker, right? I'm sure everybody knows what that is. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to take it back to what I used to use, which was lipstick, right? Little tubes of lipstick, and you threw in, it's a marker, basically, or it's not even a marker. It's more of like a rubbery substance, and it's hard to take off, and that's what you use to tag with, right? For the most part, back in the day, it was black.
Share what it is in case people don't know. In case.
What's that?
Share what it is in case people don't know.
Okay, so all right, so a streaker is what you would use to tag, right? To put your name. It's not a spray can. Again, I don't want to call it a marker because it's not ink. It's more of like a rubbery substance, right? So it's just it looks like a marker. You open it up, and it's black or white. Back when I used to do my thing, and that's how it would come, right? You would write on boxes, right? I remember my dad used to use it. He used to work for Airborne Express, and they used to use it to the paint stick. Yes, exactly. To write on the boxes, right? Quick, boom, done. Just kind of like crayon substance, but thicker. So that's what we would use to tag on the wall. Now, again, from spray cans to streakers to anything else that you would be able to use, if a scribe, right? Another thing is where you can kind of grind your stuff on glass, right? That's what we do with RTDs out here at the buses. That's what we would use. But I'm talking about the streaker. Now I want to talk about how that kind of evolved, right? And I think it's weird to me. It was similar to cannabis. Because I remember where it's like, yeah, you can get your hands on it, but you would have to go like the local swap meet and they'd sell it on the low. The caps too, like the caps were a little, you could probably get them a little easier, but it was always more on the low. To where now, what we used to take hours to split them in half, have two different colors, right? So you open, it's like a lipstick, right? Just longer. You take the whole thing out, fish wire, and then cut it in half. You'd have to wear gloves, and then you take another color, put it together, put it back, and now when you're writing, right, your wrist would start off black and then whatever other color, orange. So it had a nice color to it. Now, and this has been happening for a while, so don't take it as I just found out. But to me, it's crazy how we've evolved to you go online and let me get 3 of the quadruple colors. Now they're doing it in 4 parts, which to me is like, because again, this was brought up because someone was like, those streakers are expensive. I'm like, yeah, bro, if you knew what it took to just split it in half, let alone into 4, that takes fucking forever. So that's why it's expensive. How do you out there? First, are there graffiti themed stores, or how easy is it to get a streaker out there, pre-packaged and cut?
So nice topic. So we, at least I can only speak for Connecticut and what I knew of New York, East Coast shit. Like I don't think they were as popular out. We didn't really use them. I mean,
Oh, okay.
so we would basically the really only thing I used were the my friend. First of all, I didn't like putting shit together, so I used the shoe polish. Those were
Oh,
really
mops.
yeah. Those I used we use more mops. Everybody that I wrote with used more mops, markers, and paint. But as far as so we didn't really use them that much in terms of the joints. But as far as the stores go, so though I remember back as far in '93 we had a dope store, and this was dope because this is why it was cool. And now it's kind of corny, but in '93 there was a store called 10 Times Dope in New Haven, downtown New Haven, Crown Street, and it was run by Graff skate kids, like picture if the kids from the movie Kids had a store. These were the
Oh,
kids.
okay.
These were the kids that were, so like, and so they sold fat. This was like the first time, like, and this was like '93, so it was just dope to see them in store. It was the only place like you could like get them anywhere, but it was like a small little store. It was open for about 7 years, and they had like they sold paint, um, and a lot of skate shit, markers, stickers, and slaps and stuff, and some skate gear. Always them grimy hip hop heads. They were always playing like star in there. It was a dope spot. Love the cats used to go there, hang out, burn trees in the back and stuff like that. So it was cool because that was like it was still early enough where that was like just like a little haven, a little niche, like little like getaway, like this.
Like a
So,
your own little
yeah,
spot.
it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like they were all over the place. I mean, I that was the only store that I've seen that I ever was able to purchase anything in person. And then I stopped writing after I got arrested a bunch of times. And then now back fast forward to where we are now. Yeah, like I ordered some caps online. I mean, bombing site, whatever it is. And I look online. The art store right near me. I mean, so just to even buy like, I mean, I was going to take it a step further. Just the fact that there's like that companies, Graff companies now that like specifically for Molotov, like these like specifically for Graff sponsorships and stuff. That whole thing's crazy to me.
I love it, right? I mean, because there's a fine line. I think it's crazy, like I said, with these streakers and before it was like Rusto, Krylon. I mean, anything Krylon. I remember anything Krylon to me. I was like, I wanted a sport. Then all of a sudden, you got Montanas, and it just I love it. It's dope because it gives people an opportunity to be independent and get jobs and shit like that. I love it. But then at the same time, it was like, we grew up in an era where it was like, yeah, you just knew that dude at the swap meet. We walked up there, you said, specific thing. It's like, oh, that's what you're looking for. Boom, 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 done. Then you started getting like, all right, this dude now has graffiti VHS tutorials, which I don't have one in front of me, but you'd get tutorial B-boy VHSs, and then all right, so now there's the tribal, right, or the old school like X to Go, TGO rather, had a spot in LA, and I love to see that too, right? Because now that gives an artist, a graffiti artist, to go out there, free wall to paint every week. They paint over it, cool. But there's something about, like I've said with underground music, right? I hate the fact that not a lot of people know about a certain album, but there's a little bit of me that's like, all right, I like that though, because I know that's just me, like me and a couple people. So I love it when I find person that I've never even met, and they have that one T-shirt, or they're listening to it and I catch them in traffic, like, oh shit, about that. Same thing with the Graff shit. But yeah, I mean, there you go.
I buy the joints. I mean, these shits work great. I mean, like, here's the thing. What we're talking about indirectly is that we're talking about, so we're old, man. So we were a part of this, fortunately, when within every single element, it was about the find. It was about the discovery. It was the newness. Everything was very new. So it's just all that's taken away now. I mean, it's just done. It's not new anymore. I mean, so then therefore the evolution is like these companies and this, like we were fortunate enough to be part of it when it was new. So we racked our pen. We made our mock. We made our streakers. We used whatever we could to write. If you could write on something and made on there, we took the we're gonna do the caps. We made our own caps. Like so that's the thing. We're old and it's not new anymore. I mean, so then therefore it's different now. But like at least we can hold on to the fact when it was new and organic, fresh, it was different because we had to make the shit and like
Yeah,
so
we take. I mean, and again, let's just say I would catch a tag here and there these days, which I don't. But let's just say I would. I would do it with whatever I can find or purchase it online because I don't have the time now to say. I mean, what I do, go to school, sometimes probably even ditch and go to the homie's crib, and that's what we either get the mops, like you said, with the shoe cleaner, take it all out, or even like the roll-on deodorant sticks, take it out, put the ink in there, put the little what are those shit called? The little
ball
balls,
bearing.
the bearing, throw the bearing
Yeah,
in there,
yeah.
boom, done the felt, and you got it, right? But again, now it's cool, and I like it. I mean, it's cool, but it does take away from um, knowing what goes into the art. Um, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So Chef, Slick just brought out a line. So I thought I had seen Slick come out with the line of something, and you know how Instagram is. I try to scroll back, and obviously I can very easily click on his IG handle, but I thought I had seen that. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Rubik's, the hip hop shop. Yes, you mentioned. I was talking about the shop that Hex had out here or has out here, and it's like called the hip hop shop. And again, so back then the same thing, right? Where it's any graffiti related to me, any graffiti related apparel, clothing, a shirt. Where I mean, I remember there was a shirt. That's my favorite shirt. It was the shell toe Adidas with the fat laces, and it was just that, but all cartooned out. Everybody was rocking that, but it wasn't like you could just go into a shop and be like, yo, let me get a 2X or an XL. No, you had to know somebody. You had to drive out to LA. Out here in OC, you didn't have that. So
Right.
to where these days, you go online or you catch it anywhere.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I wanted to jump into Graff versus street art. I talked about it with you at some point, but I can't remember. But I don't give a fuck because it keeps coming up for me. The topic. So I'll say for me, I was a writer. I was all about bombing, getting up everywhere. There were some unwritten rules that most of us observed. Um, I never made it a point to go over street art. I didn't really give a fuck. I was too busy getting clean walls, so I didn't care about street art like that. But I'm seeing more and more writers going over street art and like dissing it and shit. And I get it. I mean, I know as far as the gentrification going on in Brooklyn, there's like a pushback against a lot of that, and so I've seen some writers. I've seen some writers going with people while they're doing shit. They're like doing some mural or something. So I mean, part of me is like, man, that's kind of a dickhead move. And part of me is like, yeah, I get it, but yeah, there's an echo on my end too. There's a little bit of feedback.
Is there?
Yeah, fortunately, I think it's on my end. But yeah, I mean, so for me, man, yeah, there's I personally don't have a problem. I'm not like that. So as much as I was like trying to destroy shit, I don't really have a problem with street art per se. like it's not really that big of a deal to me. Like I don't hate on it like that. I mean, I hate when the one thing I do hate is the fact that street art is allowed and considered to be beautiful for the neighborhood, and dope pieces aren't. I could see throwies and good eye, whatever. So that's the problem. There's a spot near me. Should I go out and come back?
Try it. I can keep it going.
All right, love you. Nah, that was it. I mean, I just this big push with writers. I guess that this street art, fuck street art, fuck street art. I'm like, I think both have their place. I don't like when one is considered to be over other. Then it's still an echo, but I don't know.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I hear it. Anyway,
I will say this. I mean, especially out here, and when it comes to street art or murals, as we like to call them out here, for the most part, out here, especially LA, there's always some kind of graffiti aspect to it, whether it's more on the cartoonish side or maybe even, it could be a nice mural of a face or, some political figure or whatever. But the words, so like, let's say it's a message or whatever, the words might be on more legible, readable, but still has kind of like a, graffiti feel to it. But you're right. I mean, why is it that, a good cartoon character that can accompany a dope piece, not so much a throwy, why is that looked at as, oh, that's just graffiti, where, something to beautify the community, which again, I have no problem against, nothing against. But you're right. Street art versus graffiti is just, it's always going to be there. Let's be honest.
Or they want to use graffiti when it's like convenient to like show some type of, So.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, when we talk, and just to go back to what you were saying in terms of disrespecting a mural, I get it, right? Not for everybody these days, but a lot of young graffiti writers don't have that unwritten rule. There's, you just don't. If you're just bombing, putting your name up, then I understand how you don't know how long it takes to get up and make something nice, because if you're just writing your name, you're in and out, done. But for those that do throwies and your pieces and all that, you should understand how long it takes to do this. Not just that, it's like that's somebody's work, right? You start from the bottom. Again, we say it a lot. Throw up goes over a tag, a piece goes over a throw up, and then the blockbuster or the whatever you want to call it, the big mural. It's just an unwritten rule. It's just one of those things, but it is disrespectful, right? Like someone said on some cap shit, right? And let's be honest, dude. I mean, I can say I dislike it, but in the sense of graffiti vandalism, not on the shiny, like, digital graph art. I mean, after all, it is about vandalism, right? And can we really say, oh, hey, you can't do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's all good. It is what it is. We're switching into the rap now. Back to the rap heads.
Back to Professor Sanchez. What up, brother?
What you got?
So for rap, artists, MCs getting called out for originality. We've talked about this, but I think it's a must that we talk about it again. And the reason why,
give an example of who you mean.
Example of
who you like. Yeah, we've talked about this. I'm saying,
well, not in detail. I mean, we talked about it in passing, and maybe I probably said, like, what I always say is like, oh, well, this for a topic for another day or whatever.
Gotcha.
But and I hate to be that old head. Oh, back in my day, whatever.
We are that dude.
We are. That's exactly what it is. I mean, it was a thing, right? You get called out. That's just what it is. You sound like somebody. You're using somebody's lyric. You're gonna get called out. These days, not so much. But I was watching. The homie Crest Rock sent me a video where LA Cool, a rifleman from Hip Hop Clan, which is a group here from LA Underground, who most would say, originated the chopper style, which we call a tongue twisting chopper, or whatever it is, right? And he was just talking about just putting respect on originality. We've talked about this again, right? Uh, Volume 10 saying that Q bit his style somewhat. We've talked about Bone Thug stealing styles. There's just everywhere, right? Even down to the point where, like, the Chronic, Dr. Dre, the album, The Chronic was something Ganja K was working on. Ganja K was an underground MC, again, The Good Life. And, it's just little things that were kind of taken and, made someone else got big over it. But calling MCs out, to me personally, needs to come back. We need to make these dudes aware, girls, guys, whatever it is, this sounding the same shit is getting super fucking old. Doing my top 22 of 2022 wasn't that hard, but I ended up with, I don't want to say contenders, but I ended up with about 60 albums that I was like, all right, these are good albums. They came out. I kind of, they grasped me just a little bit, but there's actually 25 that really grabbed me, but I knocked it down to 22, where it's like, none of these albums to me sound like anybody else. They all had their specific sound. I didn't finish my list, but I can't continue, and this is just me, I can't continue to listen to shit that sounds like everything else. Same with what we talked about, Westside Gunn. Yeah, it's dope. It's not Lil Yachty. It's not fucking that Tekashi 6ix9ine. Obviously, it's not. It's not Lil Wayne. It's not trash. But I've heard it. I can tell you the cadence. And it's, again, it's not that it's whack. It's just that I've heard that style. I love, me, I love the abstract. I love new styles. I love stuff, honestly, that kind of throws me back a little bit, that it takes me a while to get used to. And I know not a lot of people have an ear for that, but calling MCs out, I think, should be a goal or something to set forward here in the new year.
I would say yes, if you care. Unfortunately, So unfortunately, a lot of people don't care, and a lot of people, you have to blame. Listen, you have to blame the artist as well. I mean, and the fan, because the fan is willing to accept the fucking bullshit. So just talked about it with Brother Jay. So people want these to sound alike, right? They don't mind it. People are dumb as fuck, and they're willing to accept watered down. They love it. So you and I can sit here and whine, and however many people in here could sit here and be like rah rah rah. But I'm big picture. Nobody else cares. They want it right now.
Do you think? Sorry to cut you off. Do you think it's okay? Because so Chef just said we need competition, which I think is one of the factors, right? There's no competition. If there was competition, then you'd hear somebody, yo, that's nice. Let me one up, right? Let me one up the sound. Let me one up the style, right? Because, again, let's be honest, and there's a fine line between sounding like somebody and being impressed and motivated by somebody, right? We had the Melly Mel, the Kaz, Mo D, Rakim, BDK, Big Daddy K, KRS, Nas, G Raps, right? And then that one built from the other, and obviously it wasn't. I just created a new sounding sound. No, you took a little bit from everybody, but created a new sound. So understand there is a fine line. But aside from the competition, do you think us as the listeners, right? I'll throw myself in there, because it could very easily go the same way, right? Me just easily dismissing new music because it's not the sound I like. It's not boom bap, or it's not whatever. But is it us being lazy to sit there and try to accept a new sound, something that we're not used to? Because we're programmed by the radio. you're gonna listen to this, you're gonna hear this same 808 with the same program and the kick and all that. But then you listen to something else and say, it's not to my comfort level. It's not what I'm used to. Next.
So you're saying, are we,
Are we too lazy? I don't know if lazy is the word, but are we too busy these days to be like, let me sit down and try to listen to something new?
I don't know. I think some people aren't doing shit with their lives, to be honest with you. They could listen. But I think, but I think, I do think that, I think we're lazier overall. Like our minds are lazier. So I think we're just, like, and our attention spans are shorter. I think a lot of things are going on, man. So the whole frequency of the entire fucking world is dumbed down right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so. I mean, I think in general, everyone's just we kind of we suck right now, man. Everybody sucks. And great point, Professor. I'm not trying to listen to something I don't like instantly. Yeah, instantly. Like, yeah, pretty much for me, I know right off the bat, there's very few albums that have grown on me later that I've come back to. If I don't fuck with it, I don't fuck with right away. I don't fuck with it. But
okay. So, and I respect that. So, Professor Sanchez, you too, brother, that you said and I'm the same way, right? There's albums that I get, and it's like, all right, that intro's too long, or that sound, the sound of the kick drum just didn't grab me, and it's next. You'd be surprised how many albums I've gone back years later, whether I stumbled upon it or my shuffle was just had them on or whatever. Or like there was one, my cousin Joe, we're in the car, this is years ago, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? It sounds dope. He's like, oh, I can't remember what it was. I'm like, what? I grabbed that album, didn't like it, and it's been sitting gathering dust. So that's what I'm saying. Not so much that we're lazy, but it's just that instant gratification of like,
yeah.
oh, that doesn't sound like something, so I'm just gonna skip it. And now you have a tape or a CD that's just sitting there that if we took the time, let me just give it the time. I'm putting myself in it because I do that. Would be like, oh, you know what? Now that I listen to it, it's context, it's content, it's dope, right? I mean, again, I've been doing this for years. I mean, the earliest I can remember me doing that was like 96, where it's like, next. And then next thing you know, I told you, and it was Nas, by the way, the song Shootouts. Next. I just did I was like, next. And then later down the line, I'm like, yo, this is a fucking movie. How can I just hit next? I mean, this was, I don't know, maybe 2 years after it came out.
No, I hear you. I mean, and somebody said there's a lot of dope MCs out and stuff, we can just afford to be picky. I mean, and then Caesar said that, like, Chef said that we could, like, we're used to dope shit too. So, I mean, I think both are there. I want to get into this other rap point. I don't know if there's any MCs.
Let's do it.
Not, that's okay. This is for the MCs out there. So this is a PSA. So things have changed over the years. People spit in cars. People have different backgrounds now. They rhyme. They do shit for the gram, or TikTok or whatever. And I think it's good. You're using these tools to pump your brand and pump your shit. Dope. But there are a few things that you should know. Okay. First of all, the technical shit. Make sure your shit is loud. The music is loud. Make sure there's no kids in the background. Make sure your background's not all fucked up. It doesn't have to be professional. Thing. So I've learned this. Social media does not expect your shit to be, it's about the raw shit. So, but don't make your shit fucked up to where people are like, damn, why is there like a fucking diaper on the floor in the background and you're fucking spitting out, like cutting somebody up? All right. Make sure at least you just got a decent background. Just something straight. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your music is loud enough. If you're in the car, it better be loud. Like, cats will rhyme. They'll either be rhyming over the music, you can't hear the music at all, or the music's so loud you can't hear them. Just at least get your levels. Again, audio doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need mics or nothing. This is straight for the IG. People accept that it's gonna be like raw. Okay, cool. They're gonna see through it. I've met a lot of dope MCs through like the car shit. So don't, but like, just get that shit. At least try to, when you're doing videos on here, to be somewhat presentable. You know what I mean? Like, don't, just think about that shit. All right, that's the technical shit. The second thing is, okay, do not rely on our videos to make to pop your shit off as far as your rap career. Yo, they're good for filler. They're good for introducing people to you and whatever. They're good for here and there. At some point, you have to put out an album. You have to make some music that people want to listen to, um, and will like and want to fuck with you. So don't just think that because you got a few of your because you're doing a bunch of car videos popping off. Now what? All right, like you need to learn how to make songs, cohesive albums, learn production, learn what that means, learn how to pick good beats. It's more than just car shit. All right, and the last thing is go same thing. In line with making music, you can't just rhyme over industry shit all the time. All right? After anybody can sound dope on I can sound dope on shook ones. Dude, all of you sound dope on shook ones. There's certain beats, all of you sound dope on Triumph. I don't give a fuck. Come with your original shit. After, okay, the flips of the industry shits, yeah. Everyone, all right? So this is just me doing this for 6 years. We do social media consulting and shit on the side for artists and stuff like that. I'm not talking out of my ass. This is free game for y'all niggas and bitches and niggerettes or whoever. So
that's true. That's very true. So, so Professor Sanchez asked if rapping in the car is a thing now. Yeah, that I mean, and that's fine. It's cool, and I'm glad you brought that up because
it's dope.
It's dope.
Yeah.
It's dope. I mean, I love. I mean, what hip hop head doesn't drive around rapping their ass off, whether it's their own shit or somebody else's shit in the car? It's dope. I like it. But you're right. Levels, right? Because if you can't hear, again, I've said it. J Live. Well, I'm not even gonna quote it, but dope beat, dope rhymes, sick as fuck. But if I can't hear the beat and I can just hear you rhyme, it might deduct the dopeness of what you're spitting. So, and it's hard. Again, that's a hard thing on social media, going on live, getting your levels straight. It's really hard because it might sound dope to you, but the people that are listening to it, that's a whole other level. But yes, rapping in the car is a thing now. And the ones that I've seen, for the most part, again, not all of them, but like you said, it's, yeah, I mean, you're going to sound dope on some crazy ass production. Of course. And for the most part, I'm going to rock with it because that shook ones or that scenario, that's nostalgic. Of course, I'm going to be like, oh shit. But then what? Right?
I can't
something original.
Yeah, I can't assess your talent that way. And I mean, it's not just cars. I mean, there's different backgrounds, whatever background it is. I wouldn't say it's not just about cars. I mean, I didn't pick that because that's a common thing, but I'm just saying, like, if you're Professor Sanchez, all I'm talking about is basically people using social media and shooting videos, rhyming in different places. So don't get stuck on the car shit. I'm saying, like, any background that it's not a professional studio or whatever. I'm just saying, when people are just rhyming on the fly, just pay attention to these things. And Professor Sanchez, I mean, it's not a bad thing. If you're an MC and you're trying to pump your shit, I mean, it's a good way. Use social media to your advantage. So I think it's good to do it. I just think, you can make it better and it can be a good thing. Yeah, and I don't think anybody's getting famous off of it. That's the whole point. So you got to make music. Nobody's getting famous off of it. Trust me, they're not.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can have a few hits and, oh yeah, did you hear that freestyle? But let's remember, we live in a drive-through era.
Yeah.
Quick,
So
done.
I'm just talking.
Did you hear that freestyle is dope?
Yeah.
Week later, gone.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, from a social media marketing perspective, if you're using that and you're doing that as an MC, just those are tools, things that I just said that will help.
That's game.
Make
That's
sure you
game. You
sound
brought game on.
straight, background straight. You know what I'm saying? Don't just rap over the shit. And at some point, you know, make your own music. You know, like let people know who you are. Not don't just that's Mob Deep, B. It ain't you. It'll never be you. So I don't give a fuck how dope it is. We can talk about why you want the logo. I don't know if I can just send you the logo. Why you want to use it, but thank you. So yeah, let's switch it up. We got couple more minutes. We started a little late, so I was getting nervous. All right, we switching it back up to Graff. We got
Good, you're good.
one more talking Graff.
Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah, you got to offer. You got to. That's exactly what we're saying. You got to offer. Yes. All right. So now you've shown you can spit. Now, what kind of talent can you bring to an album to hook us?
There you go. And I'm just saying. So I'm just giving some tools for those who are using it as a marketing strategy. Like at least let us hear you. I can't hear you. Then what we even listening to? Like for what? You know what I mean? Okay, oh cool. We'll talk about it offline. So hit me up. Just hit me in the DM, yo. We'll talk.
All right. Yeah, I could start with that. Dope. Graff. All right. So, did you have one more, or is it me?
You're on Graff.
I'll make it quick because it's kind of the same thing. The evolution of certain tools you use for Graff, right? Yeah. So, the spray nozzle, right? Back then, and I brought it up as a topic because, I mean, all my topics really come from experience, right? Whether I'm talking to somebody or whatever. But I had mentioned or showed somebody, I think it might have been Raz, Blade, or one of these early Graff writers. And they're like, that looks like shit. Well, yeah, bro, it's like, this is 70, 71 graffiti. Like, of course, compared to what you're used to now, that's going to look like shit. But all the CBS film, I should have talked about that. Fuck. Good one. Chef, next time. That's a good one. But yeah, so you got to understand, I mean, something new, graffiti, right? Spray cans are used to paint certain things, not to wow out and style out on the flares. Like flares weren't even a thing, right? So talking about the evolution of the tip, the spray can tip, which would ultimately become, I guess, the fat cap, right? Which would be Super Cool 223. Now, bro, you and I talked about whether or not we should get into details of certain founding fathers, quote unquote, in hip hop. I probably won't go too far, but we got to understand this, right? The fat cap didn't just pop up in your local art store, right? Someone had to mess with it for a very long time. First and foremost, kind of the same way we did the streakers, right? I cut it.
Right.
I put two different colors together. Now there's a manufacturer that does this for you. Same thing with the cap. Whether Super Cool 23 either put a pin in there. I mean, I can't recall how exactly he did it, but he messed with it to have the spray paint come out whiter. Right? It's
game changing.
Yeah, I mean, it changes the game. That's a whole one is you get more paint in that area a lot quicker, right? So if you're doing fill-ins, I mean, think about an old spray can and the thin. I mean, you'd probably waste the whole can, right? Which you still will, same amount of paint, but you can cover more ground, right? If you're doing a throw up, those that know the throwies or the throw up, you don't really have to fill it in all the way. It just quick, boom, 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 and then you do your outline, you got it. And I think that's how it evolved. And so you gotta show respect to the founding fathers, whether it's an Emcee, when you talk about Kaz, Melly Mel, Kumo D, if you're talking about B-Boys, where you're talking about Batch, you're talking about Spy, Crazy Commandos, or if you're talking about Graff. In this case, Super Cool 223, which not a lot of people know, right? When you think about Graff, you might say Scheme, right? Because you saw Style Wars, but you don't know Blade, you don't know Super Cool 223. So I think it's important to discuss not only names of people that helped the graffiti game evolve, but people that, again, you say Fat Cap and Fat Cap, not knowing that, hey, Super Cool 223 had a lot to do with that, even if he didn't know he was doing that or it was given the credit.
Yeah, that's dope. but I didn't know that. So I mean, I appreciate you sharing that. You know, so
it also looks better. Exactly. Exactly. I love, man, listen, I love this shit so much that just off of the sound a Fat Cap makes when the spray is coming out, I fucking love that. I love it's so weird to me, but I
yeah.
fucking
I know
love
what you're
that
talking
stuff.
about. I know what you're talking about. The fact that I know what you're talking about is dope. So um, let's get into our we're gonna wrap it up. So let's get
Yeah,
into
yeah. Let's,
this.
okay, so we kind of revamped the show once already. We're gonna do it again, going back to what we talked about, right? We can sit here and talk about rap, the genre, emceeing, and all that forever. But when it comes to the other elements, whether I mean, we can never run out of topics, but at some point it's gonna sound all the same, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna have starting in February, we're gonna have a segment. So I was doing under the radar, right? And under the radar was really just that, right? If to me, when people were saying like, I don't want to listen to anything new is trash, which is ignorant to say, right? Because you're probably only listening to the mainstream, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm like, all right, if someone is too hard headed to listen to something new that just came out that was dope, then and they're saying now the 90s are the best, 90s are the best, or early 2000s. All right, I'm pretty sure, and I have at least 60 albums already listed that came out in the 90s and early 2000s that I'm pretty sure went under a lot of people's radar. Keep in mind, not everybody, but most people. So what we're gonna do, I was doing that on Fridays and kind of showcasing certain albums, but we're gonna tie it in to this show. So I believe we said the end of the month, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Give me the
End
last
of the month, the third week, whatever it is. We might change that up. But so
show
what we're
of
gonna do,
the month.
we're gonna
It'll be the last show of the month every month.
last show of the month. Again, starting in February. So January, we're still going to kind of work it out, and in February, we start it off. But so what we'll do is we're going to go back and forth, right? I'm gonna shoot I'm gonna shoot you an album, right? Tell you track whatever, listen to 16 seconds through a minute and some change, acknowledging the fact that IG might shut it down, right? Just to see what you think of it. So it's kind of like an under the radar, maybe even a reaction from both of us, because you're going to do the same with me. Show me something that I probably never heard. Again, we're not going to confine it to the 90s or 2000s, just in general. And just kind of have you guys there listening or watching our reaction to it. And then talking about what was going on at the time it came out, so on and so forth. And then, again, another segment would be we're going to have guests, interview, guests, whether they're MCs, graph writers, so on and so forth. So we're going to change it up a little bit.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. So basically, the plan would be I think the layout we may change it. I'm sure it's not set. The first couple of weeks will be the elements, just like this format we have now.
We already have.
And then the third week would be a guest, and then the last week is the under the radar, I should say. So that's also to make and like this, so we think it's important. So sorry.
Yeah, keep it fresh, right? I mean, at the same time, whether and the goal is to, aside from getting guests on here and you guys, because we're gonna have guests that you guys might not even know, so getting people to open up on other artists or graffiti or b-boys or whatever, but also, right, the under the radar shit, just get out there, right? Just listen to some new shit, and the main thing is open up dialogue, being able to react to certain things. What do you think about it? And you're gonna tell me if you like it. The people on here is gonna hopefully you guys also, when you get off the show, maybe later, say like, yo, I listened to the album, it sucked. How do you like it? Why do you even like it? Or, hey, glad you posted it because I found a new love for so-and-so. So
Right.
that's the point. Keeping it fresh, keeping it funky, preserving the culture, carrying the culture, saving the hip-hop culture, and all that good shit.
No, it'll be fun. I think that's gonna be fun. I think it'll be a fun segment. I think it'll be dope to have a guest on. So yeah, that's right, right?
What the fuck?
Oh
no, I think she's talking about you.
Me, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's what I'm like, wait, shut.
So now I think salute. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
told him.
so, now,
Happy for you guys, brother.
so
Happy for you guys.
that'll be a fun segment. Yeah, it'll be good. So February's gonna be dope. You know, we're gonna keep it pushing.
Yeah. So again, keep in mind, January is still the same. We're still going to rock, and then starting in February is where we're going to pump all this. Professor Sanchez, you know what? So Professor, just before we get off, so Professor Sanchez had reached out to me a while back, twice actually. He was doing a discussion panel on hip hop. I believe I don't know if you're still doing it, but I think, and I don't know if you want me to put your info all out there, but he's just that, a professor. Let's just put it that way. I won't give out too much information. And he was doing a hip hop discussion and wanted me to be in it. And I saw the message too late, whatever. But I would love, whether it's with you or just in general, I would love to pick Professor Sanchez's brain, because I've seen his stuff and I've seen what he does, and definitely into hip hop. And I would love to pick his brain. So, well, I'll get at you, Professor, and we'll see what we can do.
Oh, okay. No, that's what's up.
But that's okay. So yeah, reading off the phone. So freestyle, bro. Again, I know you have to go, and I gotta go.
Nah, I'm good. So if you,
So freestyle. I want to talk this freestyle.
You know, I can hang until you gotta go. I'm good.
Yeah, I got it, man. I'm still in my work clothes. Freestyle. That terminology has different meaning depending on where you're at geographically, right? So freestyle to some, I'm not going to confine it to the States or whatever. Freestyle to some means just written, but not in any particular order, right? So let's talk Black Thought, right? One of the illest freestyles that I've seen a couple years ago with Funk Flex. Fucking amazing. But that was written, right? And to us and to some of us in the LA underground, let's just put it that way, freestyle really means off the top of the head, where I don't know, maybe even in Atlanta or whatever. Why do I bring up Atlanta? Maybe because you were just talking about it, but what we think is freestyle, which is off the head, in the East, some places in the East is actually, no, that's off the head. There's a difference between freestyle, which is written rhymes in no particular form, where off the head is just, you're just sporadic, spontaneous. So with Professor Sanchez saying these rappers are redefining freestyle and reading it off their phones. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, whether mainstream or not, reading it off the phone is a thing now. I mean, I've done it, not off the phone, but off the, let's say I'm at a studio or whatever. Like I remember one of the homies, Marty, he's a drummer. He invited us to the studio because his band didn't show up or something happened. So I'm like, let's go, let's rock. Me and my brother went in, and yeah, I had a lot of stuff up here, but I'm like, let me take my, whatever. And I saw he kind of looked at me like, wait, you got your lyrics? I thought you were an MC. And this dude is not hip hop. He's a rock dude. But he knew, like, MCs are just all up here. So yeah, I mean, these days freestyle is different depending on who you talk to. What's freestyle to you?
Oh well, it depends. I heard depends on a couple of things. Depends on your age. If you're from like the early generation, freestyle, Kane says it. You can look it up online. He said freestyle just meant like something like that you hadn't spit before out, like, and it was just, that's all it meant. That's what it wasn't. And it was written. Like, that's what it was back then. The original. That's the original definition from the OGs.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It changed in the 90s. So my bottom line is the 90s kids, if you're from the 90s and you rock with the 90s all heavy, yeah, we know freestyle means off the top. That's what it means, off the head. And so both definitions are true. It changed. But the original definition is, you can't just say it. I mean, so that's the important thing. The original definition, like Kaz, all these cats, the OGs will tell you, it just meant a joint that you hadn't spit out yet. So that's so just at least understand that and accept it, and we can move on to what we all accept it as now, means off the head. Understood? But just understand, if you're talking to a certain person in a certain age bracket from
a certain area,
UK, Canarsie, these spots, they're gonna tell you, no, this is what it means. So I'm just saying, like, that's it. They're both are correct, but just understand, it's important that we You know what I'm saying? Really on a
Yeah, if we're gonna establish, if we're gonna go back and talk about, you know, foundation, gotta acknowledge that, right?
yeah, because if we're gonna change it and say, okay, now we accept this. Okay, I get it. I accept it. Freestyle off the head. But I've come to accept, like, if I see some, like, there's a Jada shit that he does. I mean, there's a few. He spits over the who shot the beat. It's like a famous joint. But like, it's people consider it freestyle. I don't really. I'm too old now to nit over that shit anymore. But I get it.
Same here, and I only bring it up because Professor Sanchez brought it
Yeah,
up, and
of course.
it's not a bad topic, but
No,
yeah,
it's
I'm the
cool.
same way.
But we just have to like make sure that we can't skip over what the fuck it really was and just be like, well, we call it this now. That's because that's what shit. That's why shit gets fucked up because we don't even, we make it seem like shit didn't happen. The retro shit was somebody I think came and said of style. That was the whole whole point. Like you just like it was some shit you hadn't spit before and it was a written period. So, but yeah, we all. High Road, he's been the best freestyle. I mean, come on, like it's off the. It is. So we understand. I get it, but it's both. But here's the thing. With the phones, I'm okay. I use technology all the time. If you're in the studio, rather than having the paper, I mean, you have it on the phone. I use dictation all the time. So I think it's a great tool to use. But if you're in a like when I see cats in radio spots now, doing radio spots and battles and radio, really the radio spots, I'm like, yo, you gotta have that shit in your head. I mean, I don't care if it's written, but you gotta have it in your head. You can't be at the phone. So that's why that Black Thought method, real. I mean, we can say, listen, that's why that Black Thought method man shit is so bad because not all these Black Thought. I talked about this in my live the other day. Black Thought made Method. I love Method Man, but Black Thought made Method Man look like he had never read before in his life. See? And the
I
fuck,
mean, you could even see it in Meth's face though, like, oh, I gotta go on my phone, like.
the fact that he had the phone, like I was feeling so bad. I just wanted to like. I was like, oh
And
damn,
let's
man.
be honest. I mean, Meth's flow and the lyric, they were dope. Don't get me wrong, but just like,
But you had to have it up here though.
I mean, that's what it was back then. Yo, I'm an MC, right? If you're an MC, I mean, so I used to spit like a month, and I hope my wife's still on here, but I was ready, bro. Like so again, talk about freestyle. I had my shit. Like, you know, I can practice all day, but there were certain things I would practice in the comfort of my car on the way home by myself that nobody ever heard. Maybe because I was living with my mom's at the time. Maybe my mom would hear it, but she didn't understand what the fuck I was saying, right? But I had those stashed. So when it came to the point where like I caught somebody the corner or like you know there's a the health food store we went to when you came down here where we ate. So there was an event there. I'm walking around. This dude was buying groceries or whatever, and I can't remember how it happened, but he starts beatboxing, and it's just a little crowd or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm ready, and it's just like you got to be ready. Back then, when you go, especially if you go into a radio spot back then, like you know you're an MC, you have to showcase your shit.
Yeah.
So getting caught off guard and going in your phone, oh, cringe.
Yeah, like listen, you going on a show with Black Thought. You're a Method Man, so you consider one of the elite MCs, elite MC. All right, you're going on with Black Thought. Like you should know if you're around, you gotta be ready. Like he needed to have like that's yeah, here's the thing. That's the problem. He spit was dope, but it wasn't the same energy because if he had it all in his head, because he would have just been like, and you would have seen that meth energy. We didn't get that meth energy because he was too busy reading, like, so we didn't get that that half braided half afro energy.
Yeah.
Like because he was too busy reading. So that was a bad look. I mean, it just was. I mean, I love meth. That was just a bad look. I hate looking at that video because
I try not to watch it because.
Well, I posted Black Thoughts part several times, and I always edit mess out, and I'm like, because he's like, so.
You know, I do give, and again, this is not trashing Meth at all, but I do commend him for like, oh man, but you gotta know. You said it though. If you were by yourself, I get it. Even then though, you're gonna get asked to spit something. But you're gonna be in there with Black Thought. Come on,
You
bro.
gotta come. You gotta come with it, man. So anyway,
Yeah,
real,
Cameron Chuck. Yeah, I saw that.
real quick.
Yeah, I've never been a Cameron
I
fan.
mean, real quick before we go, because I know we gotta go. Just quick plug for
Please
uh,
do.
this upcoming Monday. We back at it with our man A Plus Souls of Mischief Hieroglyphics for another episode of Talking Crazy. That's a monthly show on mental health, mental health awareness. The two of us burning trees, talking about topics that particularly men don't talk about, but just
Grown up shit that's
yes,
needed.
grown man, just just real world shit that we all forgiveness. We've had guilt, anger. We've had some topics. So all this on our YouTube. So fuck with our channel. But that's Monday, this upcoming Monday. So
And you just had
9 o'clock.
your constant elevation today, and I'm sure you're gonna get that up
Oh yeah,
quickly.
so yeah. We just had conversation with Brother Jay discussing hip hop and media, and that'll be up soon.
So listen, guys. Okay, so yes, we have this show, and this is more of a relaxed, but my brother here has, aside from his own CTC show, two very important ones. Talking Crazy, which again, mental health, things that us as men are not trained, are not programmed to talk about. And we the approach is being comfortable to talk about these things as grown men amongst friends, amongst you know brothers, sisters, mom, dad, whatever it is. And then Constant Elevation is on some Constant Elevation is on some gems, on some
That's
knowledge.
great.
Brother JFX Clan,
Yeah,
and my brother Kamal going at it. I mean, those are gems constantly. So you guys got to tune in.
yeah, I appreciate you. Those are good ones. So anyway, what we're doing here, we're excited about the upcoming changes, man. I mean, I'm
What up?
excited that we're gonna be interviewing a guest each month and getting it, like it'll be fun to try. I want to try to get you shit that I think you would like. So I think we'll do the same. I think it'll be dope.
I'm a sponge, brother, and what you've thrown at me so far, I've rocked with. And again, keep in mind, I mean, we're gonna get off here, but it's not always gonna be, yeah, I rock with it, and that's fine. Same thing I was talking about earlier with this dude that was like, oh, you don't like Lil Wayne, blah blah. It's fine. That's how me and my brother here rock. At the end of the day, it's hip hop. He doesn't like something I like. No big deal. He's not any less hip hop than I am, and I'm not any more hip hop than it's one of those things. And that unity, carrying the culture, save the hip hop culture. That after party every Wednesday. Like I said, I plugged his shit. You got to rock with it.
Yeah.
And then we're moving forward.
Salute to everybody doing it, and everybody, Professor Sanchez. And, you know what I'm saying?
He said we're at Professor Sanchez. If you're asking about where he talks about that, it's on his page. So carrying the culture. Just make sure you follow him, and he has
the links
and YouTube channel. He has hundreds of shows already.
Yeah, the links in the shit. And you follow the shit, put on the rabbit hole.
He's dope shit. I promise you.
So, salute, man. But yeah, so we'll do this again. I'm glad we talked about this stuff. This is the first one in the new year, so we'll get it going. And yeah, salute to everybody rocking with it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always. All right, brother. I'll talk to you.
All right, be good, man. Peace.
Peace. Good night.